So hi, I'm Dennis Trinkle. I am the director of the Center for Information and Communication Sciences at Ball State University. Also teach courses in leadership and in entrepreneurship and innovation. I was very excited about what Kevin is doing at EI Games for a variety of reasons. One is we teach a lot of students these days who grew up with games, and that's their predominant metaphor. So they're very comfortable learning and interacting, feeling a sense of community in games. So the ability to deliver some of the most important content that we want to cover, some of the most important skills in a media, in an environment that is where they are, gave us the chance to meet them where they want us to be.
My name is Taylor Donahue, and I am a graduate student at Ball State University in the Center for Information and Communication Sciences. I learned about EI Games through the faculty member that I'm a graduate assistant for, Dr. Trinkle, and we completed the entrepreneurship game over the weekend. Something I noticed about myself when I was completing it is that I was very invested in my success in the game, and it says in the beginning that neither question is necessarily wrong, but there is a better question. But I found myself, like, my competitive nature coming out, and I think, I realized that as I was going through it, I was like, this is silly, it's a game, but I really, really cared about the success, and I wanted to be at like 100% when we were going to market, or at least to the point where I was successful. So I think that's what I found kind of humorous, is that I was so competitive in it. I really enjoyed the characters. I felt like it was very true to the way the world is today. You just saw a lot of diversity in the workplace, and that was one of my favorite aspects. I loved the characters, and I loved listening to them, and whenever a new one came up, I felt like I was just learning a new person, and they were truly part of the team I was working on. In the class, you learn concepts, but to put those concepts into practice, you need something more, and that's exactly what EI Games provides.
So the game gives us a way to create a much more proximate media, to give them the sense of what it's like to run a business, to grapple with the key questions, to experience the successes and the failures that go into starting and launching a business. It's not just reading about it in a textbook, it's more modeling it and giving them the chance to truly experience it. So that was an important part of why the game appeals to us as well. And then the whole premise of emotional intelligence, and that as an approach to leadership, to entrepreneurship, to innovation, also resonates very importantly. There's a wealth of research that suggests that the most fundamental attributes for success have to do with emotional intelligence, with interpersonal relationships, with communication and emotional affective ties that come out of emotional intelligence that really become the foundation for success.
I haven't really done anything that's this immersive. I really felt it was just a perfect in-between between a classroom and actually being a part of like an entrepreneurship project. It really taught you everything you need to know about the process.
I think what EI Games has done really pulls together lots of threads that we are particularly interested in. It's authentic where many of our students are. It gives them a chance to immersively learn and grapple with questions at a closer distance than you would in a book. And it does it from an emotionally intelligent framework, which is what we think is really foundational to everything else that we want to teach in the program. So we've now used two different games. We've used Fireworks, the entrepreneurship game, and the leadership game. And in the beginning, I went through the content myself to get a feel for how the games worked, what their strengths were, their metaphors for teaching leadership, for teaching emotional intelligence, and so forth. And then after I had a good sense of how they work, then I got a pilot group of students together outside of a course and had them work through it and share their comments and reflect with me on how it could be used, what the strengths and the weaknesses were, and so forth. And the students were sort of over the moon excited about it. They thought it was terrific, and I asked them sort of direct questions like, if you had the chance to learn this content by looking at a book or by going through the game, which would you prefer? And overwhelmingly, the pilot group said, well, we think that we would much prefer to learn through the game, and we think that we learn better through the game, that we master the content more. It's much more like really leading or like running a business, and we think we're going to retain the content longer. So that was really encouraging. So then from that, we shifted to using it in a course over the summer. And again, got a really positive reception from the students. Used it in my entrepreneurship and innovation course, and the students universally had positive reactions to the game and thought it was terrific, and went on and on about all of the positive differences over learning about entrepreneurship from a textbook or innovation from a textbook. Most of the simulations and games that I had seen before had a financial metaphor. They were about managing resources, managing numbers, and you would make choices. How much do I spend on this? How much time off do I give employees? All of these number-driven variables that would then influence outcomes within the game. They didn't attempt to model human interaction. They didn't attempt to model human decision making in the same kind of way with emotional ties, with emotionally effective components. They were really more making numbers-driven business side decisions and so forth. So I was really attracted to what EI Games is doing, because it has a different kind of gameplay, it's a different kind of environment, and it's really first and foremost about emotional intelligence and relationships. And that was really powerful. Get a pilot, get a key, go in and try the game yourself, grab a group of students and give it a shot. I think you will be really positively pleased and impressed by what you can accomplish and by how well the game is received by students.